Excellency President of the Republic of Kenya, Cabinet Secretaries that are here today, Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, business people that are here today. If I may start by sharing with you how I ended up in Nairobi this morning. I was on my way from the United Kingdom and we stopped for a refueling stop in Cairo at 3 a.m. I received a message when I put on my phone call that the President and the government of Kenya are expecting you. I called the pilot, I said, can we divert to Nairobi? And what time can we get there? And so I'm most grateful, Your Excellency, that I am here and that the government was able to arrange for me to be here. Today is a historic day. It is a historic day because what Kenya and Ghana are doing is to give commercial meaning to the whole project on which we all stand in the African Union, the project of integrating our market, integrating our economy as a continent, and placing our continent on a path to global competitiveness one day. What we've seen as we were coming here this morning, the display, is value-added production. Value-added production that will enable Africa to trade in industrial products, to uplift millions and millions of people out of poverty, to create opportunities for small, medium enterprises, to create opportunities for young people. In 2015, our continent exported $6 billion worth of unprocessed tea and coffee. The global market for coffee and tea is estimated to be over $100 billion. The processing is done elsewhere. The repackaging is done elsewhere, outside of our continent, and you can see the losses in the value chain. And so today is the beginning of us reversing that trend, which has sustained over the last 60 years or so, where we as Africans are taking the initiative, accelerating industrial development and accelerating Africa's capacity to export. Another example that I will cite, which always disturbs me, in 2019, our continent imported $16 billion worth of pharmaceutical products. But those components, if I may call them that make the pharmaceutical products that we import from the rest of the world are made here in Africa. They are here on the African continent. And so, Your Excellency, President, what you and your government have done and what the government of Ghana have done and the others who are beginning this initiative is truly a historic moment where Africa's industrialization, the path is starting today. And our capacity as a continent to industrialize, to accelerate our opportunities in terms of global competitiveness, I believe, starts today by this initiative. Other countries will follow. On Friday, it will be Cameroon, Tunisia, Egypt, Mauritius, that will also be trading in manufactured goods that are manufactured in various African countries, so that eventually, in 15 years' time, we double intra-Africa trade, and not only double intra-Africa trade in primary products, but double intra-Africa trade in manufactured goods. The next challenge that we will have to confront is access to trade finance. If the AfCFTA benefits only large corporations, which they should benefit, if the AfCFTA benefits only the elite on our continent, I'm afraid it shall not succeed. That is why we have to make sure that our development finance institutions make available, readily available, the trade finance that is required to ensure that small medium enterprises benefit. 450 million jobs are created in the African continent by small medium enterprises that are largely led by women, creating and contributing close to 60% to Africa's GDP. And so we've got to make sure that we focus on small medium enterprises, young entrepreneurs, so that they can see the benefits of trade, they can expand their markets, the reach of their businesses from East Africa to West Africa to Southern Africa. This is what the AfCFTA is all about, creating opportunities for millions and millions of young people so that Africans stop dying and being buried deep in the Mediterranean oceans as they seek a better life abroad. And so this initiative today, it may appear on the face of it to be about trade, but actually it goes deep in the heart of Africa's development. It goes to Africa's economic development, creating opportunities for young people, uplifting our continent so that we are no longer the headquarters of poverty in the world, and so that one day we too as Africans can be as globally competitive as any other part of the world. And I believe that that shall happen. If I may leave you with this very positive projection, which always encourages me. The World Bank in 2021 released a study, and they said, where the AfCFTA is implemented effectively, there is potential to lift 100 million Africans out of poverty, to contribute $450 billion to Africa's GDP, to boost intra-Africa trade by over 80%, and more importantly, to create opportunities for small medium enterprises. So we have a very unique opportunity as Africans, a very unique opportunity to take a trade agreement and make it an instrument of development, job creation, innovation, and global competitiveness. And so with your leadership, Your Excellency, I believe that in 10, 15 years' time, our continent will be able to trace back the successes that we would have made on that day. We would be able to trace back the successes to today, when actually in Kenya we started trading under the AfCFTA in earnest. I want to thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Welcome, SG. Once more, with your permission, Your Excellency, allow me to invite the Chair of KTDA, Mr. David Muni Ishoho, to make brief remarks. Mr. Ishoho, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Samuel Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of Defense Forces, Cabinet Secretary, Mining, Minister of Industry, Trade and Development, Manda Betty, CS nominee, Minister of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Honorable Permanent Secretaries present and government officials, KTDA Board and Management, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Today we gather here to witness an small-scale tea sector as we flag off the first container of Ketepa value-added tea destined for Ghana at the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. Kenya is the leading exporter of black tea in the world. Increased market access is our top priority to grow the earning for our tea farmers. We are happy to take this opportunity to diversify our market from our traditional predominantly bulk tea market to value-added market like Ghana. This is in line with your government agenda for improving the nation's export earnings through value addition. The tea subsector supports the livelihood of more than 600,000 farmers, majority of whom own less than half an acre of tea. KTDA as an aggregator manages the processing and marketing of tea from 71 processing factories spread across the 16 counties. We apply the economic principle of economy of scale to enhance efficiency and ensure farmers is paid promptly for their produce. In the last financial year, Your Excellency, the small tea holder farmer earned 62.89 billion shillings for their tea, which was an improvement by 42.4% compared with the previous year earning of 44.15 billion shillings. KTD has invested in subsidiary companies within the tea value chain to save costs as well as manage enhanced revenue. Ketepa, whose mandate is value addition for local, regional, and international market, is one of the subsidiary companies where KTDA is a majority shareholder. Ketepa has indeed been a household name in Kenya over the years, with blood like Safari Pure, Fahari ya Kenya, among others. The subsidiary has been among the market leader in Kenya and supposed to live big from the access of greater African market brought about by ACFTA. Your Excellency, Kenya tea production has been growing from 390 million kilos in the year 2015 to over 530 million kilos made tea in the year 2021. This growth against the backdrop of our stagnating low consumption have put pressure on our export market. Our main market, especially Pakistan, Egypt, Sudan, have in the recent past faced economic challenges brought about by post-COVID effects as well as Russia-Ukraine war. We have been working closely with the Ministry of Trade, Tea Board, and other government agencies to open the market, especially for orthodox and value-added tea. We appeal for the government to support bilaterally by making our tea more competitive access, especially in markets that have tariff barriers. We also request the government support in coming up with common use facility for value addition to enable more players to venture into the business without having to invest the huge capital outlay. To become more competitive in the international market, sir, we require efficient logistics system and ensure the cargo is delivered to the market promptly. KTD has invested in the logistics center at Mombasa Road in Nairobi and warehouses in Mombasa. This has improved the handling of tea and fertilizer. We request your government through the Kenya Railway to provide us with the railway siding and the last mile connectivity for this facility to enable us efficient use of SGR. We are most grateful, Your Excellency, for the fertilizer subsidy that has enabled farmers access NPK at the cost of 3,500, down from 5,617 market price. This will go a long way in improving the tea productivity. On our end, Your Excellency, we have reduced the interest rate from 21% to 8% for loans given to farmers by our microfinance subsidiary, Greenland Fellow. This is in line with your recent policy of a single-digit lending rates to boost access of credit by small traders and farmers to support the bottom-up economic model. We pledge to share our experience with the government institution charged with this initiative, as well as offer support in the implementation leverage of our model. We thank you most sincerely, Your Excellency, for your commitment to reform in the agriculture, agro-processing, value addition. I look forward to playing a critical role toward the realization of greater good of our nation. We pledge to work with you closely with your government in your transformation agenda for our great nation, Kenya. Thank you, Your Excellency.
To make brief remarks, Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Generals of the business communities, good morning from Ghana. And I must be one of the happiest people to be here this morning for a very simple reason. Since the discussions, the deliberations and negotiations under the CFTA started, some of us, right from the word go, believed that we could not wait for every country to be ready before we implement the AFCFTA. And we held on to that belief. And the last person that I spoke with was with His Excellency President Paul Kagame in June during the Shogun. And I mentioned to him that, Your Excellency, with the political will and your support, can we come together, those countries that are ready for the CFTA to take off? And he told me, I think you are right. So I wasn't so surprised. A few weeks after that conversation, and I heard that this important, significant step was being launched in Accra. And I want, Your Excellency, through you, to thank the Secretary General and the entire Secretariat of the CFTA for the wonderful job that they have done. This is the most significant step as far as the success of the African Continental Free Trade is concerned. And I'm very grateful for that. Between Ghana and Kenya, I think our relations date back to our first president, President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and President Jomo Kenyatta. They worked so well together. And since then, our relations have evolved. But it is important for us to underscore the point that excellent political relations is not enough. It must be translated to affect the economic dimension of our relations. So what we are witnessing today is exactly what we expect, that the political impetus should lead us to an economic improvement. I wouldn't want to say so much, but Excellency, I don't think we need that much support from elsewhere to ensure the success and the effective implementation of the African Continental Free Trade era. We need two things: demonstrable political will and commitment. Once we can get these two from across the continent, nobody can stop Africans from realizing the full benefits and the potential of the CFTA. Ghana continues to work closely with Kenya. And we were expecting a state visit. We nearly had it last April. And then the unfortunate demise of the former president truncated that visit. So I want to use this channel to humbly request Your Excellency to consider resurrecting that discussion for a state visit to Ghana, for us to continue to consolidate the excellent relations that have existed so excellently between Ghana and Kenya. I want to thank you all for coming and for joining Ghana and Kenya experiencing this particular event. I thank you, Mr. Excellency. Thank you.
Your Excellency, sir, it is now my honor and privilege to invite Madam Betty Maina to take over the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Cabinet Secretary-designate, the Honorable Moses Kuria. I've seen my senator here, Senator for Kericho, Secretary General, and everybody else who is present here, and especially the team from KTDA. We are really honored, Your Excellency, that you found time to come and witness this occasion and demonstrate the importance of trade and the importance of smallholders in our country. We are very, very honored. I know you've been very busy, but this is a real milestone. As has been mentioned, this is really part and parcel of our trade within Africa, and the Secretary General has outlined the vision that you as our leaders have, and it is for us to implement. I just want to confirm to you, Your Excellency, that Kenya has taken its place very seriously in these negotiations, and we've been some of the fast movers. So what you're witnessing today is a demonstration of that energy. This pilot initiative of guided trade under the CFTA has been preceded by preparations in our country. I want to confirm that our trade facilitation agencies, the Revenue Authority, the Bureau of Standards, and all related have aligned themselves and have prepared the necessary documentation to support. But this is being supported directly also by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I expect that our ambassador will be on the other side to facilitate, to make sure, because this is something new for us, so sometimes our people might not have taken that amount of time to align. But the governments who are taking this initiative have decided that we will make sure this works, and more will be coming and joining on board. As we've briefed you before, we have identified other markets in Mauritius, in Cameroon, in Egypt, of products that we will be piloting under this initiative, and my colleague who is taking over from this role will have the responsibility of supplying you with a report on what is being done. I really want to thank you. I know it's, and I would have liked to invite my colleague to just wave, but I'm aware of the processes that we must go through. And with that, Your Excellency, it is my humble duty to invite you to address this gathering. Asante sana.